and blog. And many times you guys ask for testimonials, you ask for stories, you ask for people who are winning, or Erica, show me someone who took your classes or some of your training. Well, here we go. We have a young lady, I'm gonna call her young lady. I call everybody young lady, who is that very student who went from watching on YouTube to actually doing, taking action, and actually getting a lot done, retiring even. But I'll let you her tell some of her story. So go ahead, Annette, share with them.
My name is Annette from Annette'sWorth.com, and I have been following Erica since 2013. I started watching and finding people on the internet, and then all of a sudden she was just saying these 5-minute little short spurts, and every time she came on it was information that I didn't know, so I kept on watching her, and then it just went from there, just seeing her journey, the little tidbits that she gave. When Lending Club was a thing, she was like, hey, do Lending Club, and then it just progressed to me actually getting a loan through Lending Club to buy investment property, and I'm just like, come on now, so all I'm saying is, if you're out there and you've been listening to Erica for all this time, yeah, you know what I mean? They do. But it's just a progression. And then all of a sudden you see people come on. Andre Hatchett came on. That's how I found out about him. I'm wearing his t-shirt, and I did my own t-shirt company, Annette'sWorth.com. Actually, I have a shop, but I did my own t-shirt company because I bought Wild Wednesday's course from Erica. And it was Andre Hatchett and Money Madu. They were talking about their online stores. And I was like, oh, I want an online store. And, it's just a progression. That's how even these cups came about, the daily trading gold cups. And I'm just like, it's amazing when you take one step and then you move forward and you say, okay, I'm going to try this. But all of it prepares you for where you are today. Who knew I would actually be on the show?
So first things first,
yeah,
I really got to tell you about, you guys, when I talked about Lending Club and investing in all those notes, 600 notes, I thought nobody's even caring. Nobody's listening to me, because years later, people are like, what is Lending Club? What is that? And I'm like, I did all those videos. Does nobody care? It really feels good to hear somebody actually took action when Lending Club was out there throwing money out the ceiling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Yeah, I didn't get up to 600 notes, but I was like, dang, Erica got a lot of notes. But I continuously invested in it. And by the time I was able to, because they did something screwy in New York where you couldn't do it directly. So by the time I was able to withdraw from that, that was going into, okay, I'm going to buy another real estate property. That was helping with that. And, it's just a progression. Nothing happens all at once. It's just these little things start to build and they just get larger.
I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. So now, you guys, we are going to talk about stocks. This is going to be a stock show, but I want you to hear the progression of getting money from Lending Club to buy an investment property. Can we just take a little detour and you tell us about that investment property?
Okay. The investment property that I bought, I was going to buy it cash. So along with the money that I got from Lending Club and from my personal line of credit with my credit union, I was able to put in an offer and buy a property in cash. So this meant that it didn't have to be, it has to get an appraisal. I had the bomb realtor. It was a property in Connecticut. And then if anybody wants a realtor in Connecticut, let me know, because she's also an investor. She's a bomb. But it was me being able to actually go to the listing agent. And after it was a bidding war and everything. And then all of a sudden it was like the property popped up again. So I called him directly. I was like, hey, what's going on? He was like, oh, the person couldn't come up with the money. I'm like, look, hey, I got it right here. And that's how I got the property. So that property was the one that I kept for a year and a half. All I did was clean it out and I sold it for over double. That's what worked out there. Yeah. That's the one on my Instagram where the contractor's pulling off of the window and I'm like, hey, leave it alone.
You guys, what happens is people watch these channels for years and never take action. She did one thing lending club notes, and then it transitioned to lending club loan
Mhm.
to a property cash and double. Come on,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
That deserves a clap off right there. Okay, because like that alone, if you just did that one thing, be like, Erica, that's what I did. I'm done.
I mean,
I'd have
like,
been like,
drop the
okay, drop the
mic.
mic. You good? So
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you've been watching the channel, and I've brought on some people that really impacted your life because give them a little background. You were a nurse for many years.
22. I retired after 22 years.
Said I was
And
done.
being in nursing, like, I went through and I went through the course catalog at my college, and I said, oh, yeah, I'm good in English. What am I going to do when I get out? Good in psychology. I find it interesting, but you got to be a doctor in psychology to make any money. So it was just like my mom said, hey, do nursing and you can do anything you want to do in your life. And it's actually true. I did nursing, I graduated, well, 3 times, but I graduated before all my friends and then with my friends, and they were going on to get master's degrees. So I said, hey, me too. So I have a master's degree in nursing. And it was this thing of, yes, I'm a nurse, but my passion was real estate. I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. I didn't want to be a realtor, but then I discovered that I want to be a real estate investor. And what kicked it off was I'm at this job and they're saying you need $1 million in order to retire. Then I'm listening to podcasts and they're saying, well, there's another way to do it. Whereas if you just get assets that cover your expenses, then work is optional. So I said, that's easy. That's easier than $1 million. And, that's what I did. I was doing it and, managing the properties from my parents, properties and things like that. But for me, once my son was born, I knew that I had to build my own empire. And I'm like, hey, you can do it. You know the stuff that you did wrong in the past, because I've been through foreclosure, just getting into a property, but not being able to rehab it or maintain it. That's why I was sharing information on my Instagram page about, hey, it's not just a down payment. You got to have the closing costs. These are the things. Just because they say you can qualify for this amount, you don't want to be house poor. You don't want to get into a house. You're the only one that has to pay the bills. You got to pay the lawn guy. Something breaks, it's on you. So I didn't know about house hacking. I didn't know about renting out rooms. I didn't know about all that stuff. So I just went and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to make the same mistakes. Where do I start? First, it was cleaning up my credit, getting rid of debt. Then it was just like, okay, now what? New York, I don't think I could buy a house in cash. That's going to take me a long time, So you had to use leverage and know about that. But it was just a progression of everything.
You guys, I bring on fire guests. Annettes fire. And y'all better hit that like button. There's 150 people in here. The one thing you do, if Annette has given you gems already, let's hit the one button. Just give me a one, because if you missed it already, we 8 minutes in and she done dropped about 6, 7, 8 gems. If you picked them up, you missed it. Okay, So part of that journey is a lot of people, something bad happens in real estate. They never go, I'm a rent forever. I'm done with owning a house. Or, oh, owning is not what it cracked up to be. Or my uncle Jim Bob Joe told me he got a foreclosure and he ain't never going back, right? So what made you not afraid the second time? Was it
The
your son?
second time around was I knew that if my tenant could not pay, I was still able to afford that mortgage. That was the only thing I made sure. I didn't go and buy a house that had a number 2 in front of it. I had it under 100, 200,000. And it was just a matter of, okay, if I had to, I'd be able to pay this mortgage. When I started out, I had gotten one that was on auction, and that was part of, Lending Club also. But I got it, and I took, I think, a little bit out of my retirement. I took a little bit out of my, what do you call that thing? Roth IRA. And then I made it up so that I won the bid. And, I got that property. That property was totally paid for. So when I went and I was just like, okay, when I started trading, And it didn't hit me until I made $15,000. I was making little wins, but not sorry, $1,500.
I'm about to say, yeah, talk to me
Yeah, I'm
about it.
like, yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
me.
I'm like, wait, hold on, who's that? No, when when I made $1,500, because I said, wait, I made $1,500 in one day while I'm waiting for a tenant to pay me $1,500 in 30 days. So I always said, hey, I love photography, but does it pay more than nursing? I love this, but does it pay more than nursing? Then I started to invest in stuff that started to pay more than nursing with less headache and less maintenance, and I didn't have to rehab anything. And I'm just home and I'm just clicking buttons, and you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was just that thing of, okay, now my brain has to stretch because now the possibilities are greater. And the more that I fine tune this craft, it's going to be the less I physically have to work. Those 12-hour shifts, and sometimes you have to do 4 12-hour shifts in a week, it was taxing. And then one of my charge nurses and mentor, she said, it is physically taxing on your body to be able to be a nurse into retirement age. She was like, if I could go back, I would do something because it's not worth it, the amount of pain and aches that you have after. So, me now looking at it from her view, I have to now say, wow, now this is really something I have to set into place because she's telling me, don't do it at this point in time. Now I have to speed that up and be like, okay, how can I get out of here? What's my plan in order to get out of here and be able to retire with her and talk to her in the middle of the day on the phone and, things like that. So that's what I did. I did not buy lunch when everyone was eating out. I bought my own food. Um, there were people that were saying, okay, you should do this and you should do that just because you're a nurse and you should have this kind of car. And no, my car was 2001 and it was paid for. And it was cheaper to fix it than to get a car note, And when I had to get a note, then I made it my duty to keep on paying down on my minivan. Don't tell me nothing about my minivan because it's paid for. But those are the things that I did in order to say, all right, this is my goal. I need to hit this number. And when I hit this number, then I'll be fine. The thing is, when it came time for me to actually leave, I didn't even realize that I actually hit the number and I was okay to go because I was still doing rehabs. I was still putting out money into, and, tenants were in, but, I still owed the contractor and, doing things like that. But when I had to say leave, and I actually spoke to you, you came to New York June 1st, and I spoke to you and you said, look, just make sure that you ready to go. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, Erica said, I got to make sure I just can't leave like that. And I did everything that I possibly could until the video that you guys see of me walking away from the job. That was the day I finally decided to leave after trying to work with them to do less hours. But I had to choose my family first.
Y'all, is she not dropping the gym? I just want you to understand that so many people, they say, oh, I want to leave. I want to get out of here early. Oh, I'm going to retire early. But if you don't put any habits to it, if you never change your life, if you don't stop eating lunches every day with all Lisa girl and all of them at lunch, if you keep buying the new cars because you're a nurse and you need to be in a Lexus and an Acura, my aunt is a nurse. And I'm going to tell you right now, she loaded up on a lot of debt, retired the first time. They gave her like a $300,000 pension and then was like, yeah, I'm going to go back. And we tried to talk to her, but you know what I'm saying? You get into habits and lifestyle. And now this time being a nurse, she tore up her knee. She had to have knee surgery. They were moving a 600-pound patient, like one of those 600-pound life. And they had they had like a team of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a team. It's not just one nurse, and as they did it, like, whoop. And I was like, imagine if you were ready, if you've been putting the pen to paper, knowing what is your number you need to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when is enough? This is something you have to ask internally. Like we did a thing Saturday with the Rise of 20% class where I was like, What you make 5 years ago? What you make last year? When you actually put pen to paper, you go, well, dang, where is
Where did
my
it
money
go?
going?
Where did it go?
Where did it go? And all this other stuff. Like again, people be clowning me for the Ford Fiesta. I drove a net in the Ford Fiesta, okay?
I was like, this is nice.
And people be
Because,
clowning me. And I'm like, you know what?
nah,
Freedom
man.
is freedom is better.
Hmm.
Freedom is better. So
Yeah.
having the choice to walk away, or even I was fussing with somebody in here about something. And I was like, you know what? I could shut everything down, and I still be making money, right? Like, and they were like, good point, right? So it's just one of those things where,
Touche.
honey, you got to know when you could tell somebody to leave, because imagine going to work right now as a nurse because you don't have a choice
Hmm.
and you have
Hmm.
to go. That's the worst. To me, to be in your 50s and 60s and 70s, and I mean for anybody in any field, and you're there because you have to be. Whew. And
Yeah.
it was such a short time, right? It was like what, a 5 year window? I mean, what, 2013
Yeah,
now, like about
was
5 to 6.
it was a 5 year window, because when I started out, I worked at a hospital in the Bronx, and I started out as an agency nurse. But when I started it with the intention of every single dollar that I could, I'm going to put it towards trying to invest. That's the only thing that I thought about. So initially I was putting it into my retirement account, and then it was, I already had my emergency fund, and then it was okay. I'm going to do the Roth IRA, the max, max out all your accounts, and that was me. Then it was okay. I paid off my debt. Now I saved. Well, what else is there? And then it was just like, okay, let me try to get into a market that's not going to be as expensive as New York. So I looked at, I was on your program typing in, and I was asking Andre when he was on with you, what markets do you find that's close to New York? He was like, Newburgh. And he was like, some parts in Connecticut, and things like that. And so I started looking at those areas. I was close to closing on a house in Newburgh, but they had that oil tank underneath, and the bank wasn't trying to see if it, so my lawyer was like, no, that's not the one. I was close to doing that, but I found my other market in Connecticut, and that's where I started buying. So when I went, and I didn't really know about it, but when I went to work and I told my coworkers about this area, they're like, oh no, not there, not there. But my experience was, I saw what happened in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, where it was the hood. And then all of a sudden, from downtown Brooklyn coming up Atlantic Avenue, you saw the progression of how it was migrating from people leaving Manhattan, and these neighborhoods changed. So it was at one point when we were doing a rehab, my little sister, she was just like, okay, don't leave right now. I want you to leave at such and such a time. I was like, why? She was like, because Love and Hip Hop is on. No one's going to be out on the street. When I got outside, everywhere was clear. I was able to get in my car and go back home. And I said, yo,
Wow.
that's how you had to maneuver in that area at that time. And then it slowly started to change. I said, ooh, look at that person jogging down the road. And as
Pushing
that
a jogging
happened,
stroller.
there we go, little doggies and the
800
jogging.
$800 stroller.
Man, shoot. I said, ooh, we fancy now, but I saw the neighborhood change. And when you looked this way, it was, oh, that's a nice area. When you look this way, oh, you better not park your car down there. You better. And then it just slowly began to transition. And then you saw on the internet, you're getting all these things about, do you want to sell your home? And the prices are going higher and higher and higher. Man, let me tell you. So when they said that my area was a hood, I was like, bet it's going to change. You know what I mean? It's going to change. It has to change, because that's the progression that happens when you go and you look up, okay, what's the urban development and planning for a city and see what they have in store. And then you're looking at, oh, they want to build this here and build. You just go and you find property in that area, and then it changes because the city wants it to change, you know? Yeah. 76. Ooh, too much debt to retire.
Listen, I told you when I had my surgery at the hospital, I was up there at the counter looking like, who is this 98-year-old woman up here working as a nurse? She was up there just putting that information in. I'm like, okay, girl. There's some people here talking about their feet are killing them. She ready to walk already.
Yes. Nurse practitioner. Yeah. All I'm saying is that whatever job you're in, and I don't care how much money you make, whatever job you're in, if you concentrate on living and pretending like you are broke and you stack, and then all of a sudden you go and you say, okay, I'm ready to go buy something. I was showing my little sister houses in Macon, Georgia, where 20% down would be $9,800. You mean to tell me between some 2 tax returns and the extra paycheck you get in July and the other month that happens, you can't come up with that down payment in order to get yourself into a rental property? It's possible. And if you can't do it yourself, you find someone else that you group up with and both of you do it together. You know, you start small, you start somewhere, but you just start and then it will compound. The first thing you do is always going to be the hardest. After that, it gets easier because you've done it before and no one can take that away from you. So if you think about it that way, you'd be like, wow, I wonder how I invest in rental property. You take a course, you DM me, you DM Erica, who has a course. You know?
My VA is going to answer, but yes.
Yeah, you know, but it's that thing of, we're on the internet, you're going to find out that information even if no one around you is doing it. And then all of a sudden it becomes a thing of, wow, you know, you did that. I was really thinking about doing that too. And then you become the source of information for other people.
Also, I just want people to realize, like, if there's an ideal you have, it isn't brand new. There's somebody out there with it, right? There's somebody out there who has that same ideal, who has that same thought process, who they're out there, right? And the way you search on your phone every day for gossip and mess is the same way you can study stocks. You can study it. It's just your focus. You have to fix your focus. So now I brought on a guest, and what happened? Name that guest. Share it with the audience.
Terry Igioma. Let me tell you something. It was amazing because my nephew, he was graduating from high school, going into college. He came to me and said, you know, Auntie Annette, my friend wants me to listen to this webinar because it's about, you know, stock market or, you know, investing in the stock market. So I'm like hyper protective and I'm just like, who is it? What is it? He was like, I'm not sure. So we have the same email link and the link came up. I was like, don't worry, you got college to do. I'm going to take this course and I'm going to see how it is. Now, I've told this to Terry. I said the reason that I took her course wasn't because she was teaching about the stock market. The reason I took the course was she was a Christian that was teaching how to invest in the stock market. It was just something about her, you know, and a lot of people have said that, but it was just like, this person looks just like me. And she's teaching something that I've been wondering about for years, trying to find I had online trading or online investing for dummies. That didn't work. I was listening to CNBC, Jim Cramer, just looking at all these stocks, really no direction. Auntie Annette, that's right. That's right. So, you know, it was just like, those were the type of things that I was doing. And then I would always wonder, and then I got into the group investing. I joined 2 group investing, stock investing groups, you know what I mean? And it was getting around people, hearing the lingo, but still wondering, what does it mean when something's undervalued? Or what does it mean when something's overvalued? So, I did that research and, listening to podcasts and all this information. So when I finally took the course and I finally got the information that I needed, it was okay. I am a nurse and I'm a day trader. And everybody's fighting over here for overtime, but I don't even want to do time. Like, I don't even, I really want to be part-time,
Every time they come around and ask you, do you want to go home early? You're like, I'm out. Goodbye.
I'm like, can I, and that was the best part of being agency before I went full time. It was just like, oh, there was a mistake. We don't need you. I'm like, no problem. Yeah. So, it didn't happen too much after, they're like, no, you're going to stay. Someone else is going to go. But I digress. But when I learned to do day trading, it replaced me having to go and work overtime. So I was never like, okay, but in my mind, I said, okay, I want to make some more money. And then it was like everybody was fighting over the overtime sheet. And because I had less seniority, I was the last person that would get it. So in my mind, I had to switch it. And I said, you know what? Do something so you never have to put your name on there. That's what prompted me to go and say, you need to find another source of income if you want to speed up.
Mm-hmm. You telling me that I stay for overtime, but because there's only so much overtime, you're not going to get paid?
No. You're not even going to get the opportunity to work overtime because it is going by seniority. This is the union.
So 86-year-old Betty is going to get it? 86-year-old nurse Betty going to get it? With the bad back and the bad hip?
There you go. Because she's the most senior. And guess what? When 86-year-old Betty is on the floor, who you think is taking all the patients? Because you have first admission and you are less senior. So you're getting the first thing that's coming through the door. Or you're getting the one that's delivering because by the time your shifts end, you're going to have that delivery plus another person coming in to deliver. That is what it's all about. It's not just, oh, yeah, I'm a nurse. No, you work. And it's not just nursing. It's transport. It's housekeeping. It's x-ray. It's pharmacy. You work. It's kind of like when they say, okay, you're a lawyer, but you have to work in order to get paid because it's not like you can take time off and still get paid. Everything that you do is about working and billable hours. You know what I mean? So it's just the thing of, okay, I know that I'm in this career and I know that I will not be able to sustain this. My mom, she's Jamaican. I am a Jamaican. I was born here. So I'm like a carbon copy of a copy. I'm not as strong as she is.
It ain't even strong. It's like, they just get up and work every day. You'd be like, what? Why? He's 92 years old, still working. What are you doing?
You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not as strong. She knows it. She's like, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I don't know. Go to work.
I will say this. Jamaicans remind me of the silent generation. Now, why do I say the silent generation? There's an 87-year-old woman who's down the street from Texas Ground Zero. She owns like 80 acres. She's still out there picking up little pieces of wood, like the little Hispanic man chop it real thin for her. I don't even know why she's moving it, but she out there just.
They always got to do something.
And I'm like, out there in the middle of the day. I'm like, honey, I'm worried about you falling out with these long sleeve shirts on. I'm concerned.
It's the yam, the dasheen, and the cocoa, and all the pumpkin and everything she is. Yeah. But I try to be, but I'll be like, Mommy, can you come take care of me? That's who I am. Yeah. The nurse who needs a nurse. But it's kind of like you get your plan and then you have it and then you're working on it. So in the course, I'm going and I'm just like, okay. And I'm getting it. And I'm like, okay. And the strategy is working and I'm okay. And I'm just like, yes. Here we go. My course came about because one day, I'm going, every time there was a cohort and it was something new to learn and it was new presentations and I'm just like, I'm just like, constantly learning. And then all of a sudden we went to Dallas and we had that 2-day intensive. And then Terry informs me, well, you learned everything. I was like, what do you mean? There's nothing else that you need to learn. I'm like, wait, hold on. So you mean that's it? She was like, yeah, now it's time for you to go and figure out what kind of trader you're going to be. I was so lost. I was like, what? Why are you putting me out there? I just want to. But that's the progression of the course. You have to go and figure out what kind of trader you're going to be. Figure out your style, what she gave you, go out there. So I went out and I looked at different stuff, and I got audiobooks, and I got this, and I watched YouTube and everything. One day I'm in another chat group, and this little kid, and I always say he's a little kid because it's a Discord group. They're like, hey, gamers in there. And a little kid said, hey, do you guys think that I could buy this stock and hold it for a couple of weeks and double my money? I said, wait, hold on. How in the world is he coming out with this? I don't even know how to look at a chart and be able to be like, say a thing like that. So I'm on my phone, and it's the middle of the night. I'm on my phone and I'm looking and I'm going through and I'm just like, wait a minute. When the light bulb went off that he's looking at the moving averages, I said, come on. Is it that easy? That's what everyone else is looking at. Man, I looked up every single stock I had in my phone, on my computer. I was up all night because I could not believe that this is what people are looking at in order to trade. And I'm like, okay. So I started, and before that, my nephew, the one that's in college now, I said, come, ordered some pizza. And while we were waiting for the pizza, I said, bring me your laptop. Come here. I want you to do this. I want you to set up the chart this way. Okay, this is when you would buy, and this is when you would get out and sell. And this means that it's on sale, and this means that it's overvalued, and this is what you do. He was like, that's it? Less than 45 minutes later, I said, come on. I said, okay, he's a beginner. Then I started doing consultations with people in my class. And I said, okay, this is my routine. This is my trading routine. However, this is what I'm going to show you that's helped me to visualize what we already know. They're like, oh my gosh. So it's not just helping out beginners. I started it, for the beginner, but it actually helps out the advanced trader too. Just to be able to visualize and just have a game plan where you have the highest probability of whether you want to go be a buyer, or if you're advanced and you want to short. So I called up Terry. I was like, hey, Terry. She is a master chart reader. She don't need none of this stuff. Me, on the other hand, I need help. So I said, hey, Terry. She was like, okay, this is what you look out for. This is what you do. I want you to do this. I was like, bet. I was like, yeah. Terry said, yeah. And that's how the course came about, where in my DMs, when they were asking me, do you think this is the right time to buy this stock? And I'm just like, well, you could go take the course, but it's coming from people who didn't necessarily want it to be a day trader. They just wanted to know what to do with their Robinhood accounts or, something like that. And I was just like, okay, so if this method is easy for my nephew, and then I did it with my friend's son, who's my other nephew, long story, but he was just like, that's it. And, so I was just like, okay, I'm onto something. This is how I can help the average person just get started investing in the stock market. And that's how the course came about.
So what people have to understand this journey is the past 5 years, she got a lending club. She got lending club money. I have to say it again. Then you went, got a property, it doubled in value, sold it. Then you were like, all right, I'm tired of fighting for overtime. You went, you started investing in the stock market. I've seen you really active in, you've been taught some of Terry's classes, like you've been over a teaching session.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When do we start hitting the $1,000 a day? Because I saw you won the award for $1,000 a day.
Yes. I hit my $1,000 a day.
I mean, FBI be watching, but just.
Yeah, I hit it early on, and this is what happened. When I was in Terry's course, she didn't have the VIP course yet. She was teaching us trade and travel and it was over. She's like, okay, that's it. We begged her. We begged her to do more because she was like, well, I guess I can show you about shorting. Well, like there was a day when Amazon went up and it came back down, and I was in it both ways. And that's when I made $2,599. And it was like amazing because it happened at the beginning of the day, and it was only like maybe like the first 14 or 17 minutes or, you know, something like that. And it was amazing to me that that could actually happen. I was asking Terry, I was like, hey, what button do you press when you want it to go down? Like, I wanted to know. And luckily she came out with the advanced course, and I was just like, thank goodness, because that's what, you know, I wanted to do. But the $1,000 a day consistently, ooh, baby. It was going through, getting my routine, getting my strategy, learning, being able to see everything and know where price was going to stop, where price was going to go up, all of this stuff. Getting that straight from Terry made me a better day trader when I finally got all the stuff that was in her head. So then it was just taking it to, okay, yes, I'm going to do options. And when the stock market started falling, I was just like, oh, thank you so much, Mindful Jay. When the stock market started falling, and I was just like, okay. For me, because we started in October 2018, it was when the stock market was falling. So because I learned in that kind of environment, I really don't trust the stock market to go up all the time. I just look for opportunities for when things are going to start, when things are going to go down. Even if it's an individual stock, I just feel more comfortable. I'm a bear. So that's what I discovered after I had to go and discover what kind of trader I am. So the consistency of, I said, okay, this is the method. I have everything. Let me see if I can actually work this out. I set my simulation account to $50,000. And then what happened is in 2 weeks, I grew it to 81,000. That is when I knew, all right, this method.
Say that again. Back it up. Say it again.
Simulator, in 2 weeks, I grew it to $81,000. And, you know, I'm showing my mom, and she's like, is that real money or fake money? I'm like, Ma, it's fake money, but I know how to do it. The thing is, everyone thinks that you have to go and you have to use your real money in order to learn. That's a very expensive lesson because you don't know all the stuff you need to do. There's so many different scenarios. There's earning season, there's this. If you can perfect your craft in your simulator, then when you go into your live, then you know that you're going to be consistently making money. It's not about just going out there and be like, okay, let me see what I could get today and just going without a plan. It's actually taking the time to actually learn what mistakes you're making, how to correct them, how to not make them again. And then when you're going into live, you're already a successful trader. That's something people don't tell you about and stress. They're just like, okay, get out here.
Like different small things. A lot of people are resistant. No, I need to make this money, JG Wentworth, tomorrow. You're like,
yeah.
Like the other day, I was about to get out there in the options, and I said, oh, my attention wasn't focused. I was like,
yeah,
not today, tomorrow.
Yeah. That was me, by the way. I got out there, and I was just like, oh, my tax man looked at me like, what are you doing? I said, well, you know, let me do class.
There is a the Millionaire Next Door, the live. If you listen to the live version on Audible, he'd be like, you got the warrior, like warrior. Then you have the worrier. Then you got the in between, right? They come out, get a little bit, back home. Come out, get a little bit, go back. And for me, I'm a warrior in like starting businesses and connecting people and being a super connector. But when it comes to sometimes the best stuff, I'm like, that's good for today.
Yeah.
So
I have a friend that is like a beast with real estate, and I'm talking to her about stocks. She's like, whoa. And I'm like, come on, no, really. The water is warm out here. Come, you know, like, no. I'm still working on it though. Yeah.
I love all the confirmation inside the you guys are posting about nurses and being in debt and woo, I'm telling y'all, woo,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
listen, the Kaizen investor,
Yeah, yeah.
the Tabitha Brown of the Instagram. She cracks me up. She goes, hello, Mantes, or something like that. Anyway, she said, uh, she said your course was clear,
Mm-hmm.
simple, and effective. It helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Come on, friends, talk to me. I'm trying to do her voice, but I can't. Um,
But you know what it is though? A lot of things that I learned as a nurse, I just applied it to the stock market. Only because I have to take complex information and be able to explain what's going on to my patients and their family. So, yeah, all of this stuff is going on, but this is why I'm coming in the room and turning you on your left side. And this is why it's not because I want to bother you. It's because the baby needs oxygen and I need you to breathe deeply during the contraction because they're being squeezed. And, all of that stuff still applied. So when I understood it, I'm just saying, okay, this is what this is about. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take you through step by step, explain it to you. So now you can look at a chart and know it's time for me to buy and it's time for me to get out. And if you want to be more aggressive, you keep on going to the tippy top, but I'm letting you know what to do for yourself so you never have to ask anyone, is it a good time to buy or sell a stock?
right. So Jay the Hardway said, low budget trader here, got my Robinhood account, but definitely will get the course. So here's my thing. I don't bash people for what platform they're on because at some point you'll outgrow that platform. And then that's
Mm-hmm.
on you. Then you go to the next thing. Um, they asked, what stock simulator did you use?
Okay, so there's a simulator that is basically free. You can go to Thinkorswim. That is the one where you can do paper trading, and then you can practice there with saying, all right, we're going to go and we're going to buy something and see how it works, But in terms of being able to say, all right, I'm learning this, you can look at the price of a stock, write it down as if you bought it, and then see what happens and follow it and see if it hit your price target. You can do that on regular paper. You don't actually need to have a simulator in order to say, okay, well, this is a stock that I'm watching. Let me see if this thing is going to work and hit my target and how long did it take to get there. You can do that without anything, so it's not necessarily to jump to any kind of platform and say, okay, I need to have a bunch of money in there. Thinkorswim, I don't think they require you to have anything, but I put like $50 in there and I have access to their whole platform and can paper trade, which is fake simulation trading. So that's what, I did. Even in terms of like looking at a chart and, being able to do all the stuff, I'm taking you through that whole process so you can look and follow and do your research one by one. And then we have the group where we come together and we're sharing ideas. And, if I hear something and we're going through and I'm putting it in there, it's just constantly learning to not just look at a stock, but look at the story, look at the news, look what's happening in the economy. Why is it going up and everybody has no jobs? Why is, just things like that. That's what I'm giving to beginners to just get them less afraid.
So here's something I love. I really want to point this out, and I think people get lost in this.
Mm-hmm.
People go, "Oh my God, Erica! Like 1 million people lost their job last week.
Mm-hmm.
70% of our economy is still working,
Mm-hmm.
right?" And I liken this to good guys and bad guys, right? All the bad guys get attention all day. Hey, look at Jerome, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the good guys who are just putting in work, boop, 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 nobody notices them. So you have thousands of people who are home
Yeah.
investing in the stock market. You're going to have thousands of people who are investing in businesses. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, one of the biggest things is I'm in groups where people are talking about what businesses they're going to buy from boomers who want to go sit down.
Yeah.
There will always be this market of people who have money and are investing and making money move.
Right.
This isn't, I know everybody wants to think that the stock market now is full of a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing. That's incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They know what they're
incorrect.
doing.
I have neighbors and I have people I've known for years. That's all they've ever done. Trade a little bit, trade a little bit. I mean, if you actually look at a couple of the YouTubers, I was gonna name somebody, but then I thought about it. I want no copyright strike here. But all he does is he traded for a long time natural gas because it moved more than $1 a day. That's all he
Oh
did.
yeah.
If I
Oh
could break
yeah.
down his channel, people would be like, Erica, why are you a hater? I'm like, I'm not a hater. That's all the kid did. The kid got a lump sum of money and just went, he got that student refund check and went ham. And
Yeah.
now he's at, 200,000, 300,000. And you see him buying houses and buying cars to get that deduction right off. Okay. Because
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
taxes is probably it
Yep.
right in the neck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I looked at that kid. I was just like, for real? I saw CNBC making it, and then he was like driving a real nice car, talking about he feels empty inside. I was like, I want to feel empty inside in that car. Like,
let me feel it. I just want to see for myself. And after I see for myself, then I'll determine if it's empty or not.
if I feel empty or
If
not.
I feel, okay.
Like,
Let me make 2 mil, and then I'll tell you what I feel from Greece on an island.
Oh man, yeah.
So did you see this question that said, did you start day trading under PTD rules in the beginning? Do you also currently pre-trade? I'm just trying to let people get a few questions in here.
Yeah, I don't do pre-market because I use pre-market to kind of see what the high and the low is in the pre-market. So it'll kind of tell me where price might go during the daytime. That's what I use pre-market for. The day trading, what happened was I started out simulation and then I said, okay, well, I sold this property. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the point because I am the kind of person I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be in, I'm going to be out, I'm going to be in, I'm going to be out. So if I'm learning how to go in and out of stock in my simulator, when it came to my real and they were like, oh no, you got to wait. Look, what you mean? What you mean? There's an opportunity. I got to get in and get out and get it. So that's why I ended up upgrading my account to be a pattern day trader. And, in the beginning, I had to fund that account when it got below the 25,000 until I was able to start building. Yeah. So that's why I'd be like, look, don't do what I did. Because Terry told us, do not go straight. Hey, I didn't listen. And I tell
they were
people,
like,
look,
ma'am,
this is not what
we
she
need
said.
that money.
And
They
then
were like, ma'am,
I
we
hear
need
it
you.
in my head. I'm like,
we need that money.
Terry told me not to do that. Terry told me.
There's one person I'm trying to bring on, but I know he ain't gonna do it. He be tripping. He done had a baby, so when you have like a 5-month-old, your brain don't work. You're like, what day is it? Is there a night? When does this baby go to sleep? Okay, so but all he's ever done for the past year and a half, like he got laid off, but he had already studied some of these people's classes, and he swing trades just enough.
Yes. That's what I'm teaching. I'm not teaching day trading. I'm teaching swing trading. So swing trading is when you gonna hold something and you might hold it overnight or you might hold it over a few weeks. So when you're looking at the chart, you're saying, okay, this is when it crossed this. This is when it's time to get in. And then I'm gonna hold it until it reaches here because more than likely people are gonna sell when it gets to this point. That's all I'm showing you to do is find opportunity, getting stock when it's on sale and selling it when it's time to get out. That's the whole key. And once I discovered, oh wow, and it doesn't even matter. Like I put in my group today.
Wait, you have a Facebook group?
Yeah, it's for
part of the course.
Yeah, a part of the course. Yeah.
Hey, so everybody, listen. You
don't just take the course and go off.
You don't just take the course and go bye. Okay, even with my courses I have now, I'm like, y'all, get up in here, get up in this Facebook group, talk to each other. That's where the magic happens because
it's one of my students right there. He's killing it.
Everybody, what she just said is if you need a loan, call Eugene Walker. No.
Oh man, but it's that thing of this stock market thing. It's intimidating, and you think that it's for the people with Wall Street, and it's just like briefcases and everything or whatever. And then you liken it to there are kids that are playing video games and they're in the stock market.
Honey.
So if you simplify it like that, be like, look, if they doing it, I surely could learn what they're talking about. Even one of the groups, they use Discord. Discord is basically for gamers. So when I joined it because somebody had a YouTube and they had a Discord group, my nephews were like, Auntie Annette, you got Discord? I'm like, what you mean? I'm cool. I'm cool. I didn't know. I just pressed the button and I was like, look, I hope I don't get any spam but that's what you do. You're going to be able to learn something and then it takes you to another thing and takes you to another thing. Thank you, Jean. Oh, yeah.
See, they in here just.
Yeah, it takes you to another thing and then it takes the intimidation away. It takes basically, it's kind of like, look, I wish I had somebody to give me the information and give me the hookup. Like, what is this about? That's what the course is about. It's the stuff that I wish I knew back when I was trying to figure out what is this stock market thing. And the other day I put up a post. I was like, when Facebook was coming out, IPO, I got in at Facebook at $41. Mm-hmm. And then I sold it when it went to $20 because it went down. I didn't know that that's what IPOs do. I should have bought more. I know that now, but back then it's just like, oh man, I'm losing money. I can't do this. We're in a recession. It's 2009, and now I know that information. So I go and be like, hey guys, you see this IPO that everyone's talking about? What may happen is it may go down. You set your alerts and then you set it for when it starts to go back up. And then you're in from the beginning. Just things like that, just helpful information like that someone is going to be like, this is what you do when this happens.
So part of I think what scares people is that, oh, you can lose money. What if I lose money? But to me, a lot of what the issue is, they're not willing to study. Like the way I'm gonna say this and don't get offended, y'all, but the way you study these Instagram models, the way you study these fitness channels, you can study just a few companies, just one or two companies. And right now I'm so trained in my phone, CNBC comes up, updates, Yahoo Finance updates come in my phone because I'm constantly talking about one or two companies. I can say the name, but I talk about them and then I'll be like, looking up and I just watch it. And so part of what happens is you don't have to study 34 or 1,000 different stocks. You could literally just pick 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
And you can swing trade them.
Yeah.
Or, even though people are getting crazy about options right now, which I have the Tom Milley course in the link too, underneath Annettes. But what I want people to understand is you can get in for low money just trading options. Just trading stocks. They don't have to go, I'm going to go to options. There's a lot of a power in just knowing a skill. Does that make sense?
When you know the skill and you know how to read the chart, then you can move to options. Because remember, options, you can make a lot more money, but you can also lose a lot more money.
A lot more money. Unfortunately, the young man that walked in front of the train, Robinhood app thing was its option. So part of what I want people to understand about this is you got to learn the foundation part, the skill part. And someone asked in the comment, like, what's her coupon code? I don't ask all my guests to give coupon code. They don't need to.
For $97, you want a coupon code? It used to be $197. So this is the coupon code. So many people told me, your course is undervalued. And I'm like,
listen.
Yeah, I'm going to raise my price. But you know what? It was just something on my heart. And the Lord was like, Annette, you've got to remember the demographic that you're trying to help. That's why. I have a master's degree in nursing. Do you think I don't know my hourly worth? Yes, I do.
Well, here's what I try to tell people. I go like this. I go, when you don't have any skin in the game, you won't study it. You won't pick it up and open it up every day. You won't join the Facebook group and talk with them every day. The reason people be in Terry class like, I'm gonna learn this every day because they spend $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000. So they're like, I'm here. Full attention. And let's keep it 100. There are people in Terry's class. That one lady said she spent 20 grand on somebody else's class, didn't get it, had to come back through. Had to come back through. So, I want people to understand that you got to learn the fundamentals. If somebody teaches you a little trick, that trick may work for a while, but you still got to learn the fundamentals.
And you can't rely on people just giving you the information. You have to be like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not what the stock is going to do. I'm not buying an option here because, you know what I mean? Like I hear and I go on YouTube and I listen to all the stuff from all the people that are doing investing, and I know which ones are legit. And it's so cool that everyone has a different style. But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, look, I don't know, they're doing a little bit different, but I got the same thing. That's what you need to do. You don't just listen to people be like, yeah, go this and do that. You got to know it for yourself. That's your money. That's your money. You put in your employees to work so they can go out and come back to you. You're not just going to be like, hey, somebody is doing this in their business. So, go out there and do the same thing and see what happens. No, you got to train your employees. You got to make sure that they're up to date and they know the systems. They know the systems. Yeah.
So you guys got some good stuff in here. The first course is the options course is the Gumlink, the Gumroad link. Annettes course is right here. Annettes Worth. It says her name, AnnettesWorth.com. What's the minimum to be a day trader? Please let them know the number.
Okay. If you have $2,000 in your account, you can be able to do shorting with some brokerages, right? And then you go and you have, I believe, you have to get approved to do options, but I think that is, between 2,000 and 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. But in order for you to go in and out of a trade in the same day, the law requires that you have at least $25,000 to do that. So 25,000 and up, that's when you're getting into, okay, I'm really serious about this. This is more than a Robinhood. This is more than, a regular, mini trading account. And you're going to want to do stuff like buy, be able to short when the price goes down and, up like that. So as you build your account, and I think the thing is, people are actually looking to skip steps. You know that meme where people are skipping steps and
they jump the whole step.
Yeah, you're skipping steps because when you build your portfolio, you're building it with stock that basically are not that expensive. They have movement, but you want to be able to grow it, still be able to hit your targets. But as your account grows, then you're able to afford higher price stock. So if you have a small account, you should be looking at stock that are probably like over $10 and, maybe up to 50. And then as your account grows some, then you get the 50s to maybe the $100. And then when you get to the point where you can get a stock that's $100 and you're buying more than one share, then you go. And so it's a progression. It's not, okay, I'm gonna go here and I should be in Tesla. You know who should be in Tesla? People who have more money than me. You understand? Like
Tesla's here in town. I'm like, that's nice, but not that nice.
I'm like, yes, it's an opportunity, but if I only have $5,000 in my account and I go and do Tesla and it goes wrong, there goes my portfolio. You know what I mean?
Money, girl.
It's kind of like, what are you starting with? And do you have the strategy that's going to help you keep the money that you have? That's what you have to ask yourself. It's not the most popular answer, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, buy my course and you're going to be picking it. That's not me. I'm giving you the foundation of what you need to know so that you can go forth hither and yonder and be able to be like, okay, nah, I'm not going to do that because it's on its way down and that's what the chart says and I'm reading it for myself.
So several of your people who've purchased the course here.
Oh, yeah.
They're learning a lot. First, Eunice says, I got the course.
Oh, yeah.
Mo Cruz says, boom, integrity. Integrity will always win. Integrity always sells because you know what? It's hard to get your name back out the dirt. It's very hard.
Auntie Annette.
Okay. Ron said, "Go find some work." Like there, Grant Cardone goes, "I ain't got no money to give you."
Oh,
Let's
man.
see. It is undervalued, and she keeps adding more content regularly.
Yeah,
That's really like a gift that keeps giving. Like I
yeah,
like going back through my courses and adding stuff, or doing a live training, or having a Facebook group, because it's like
yeah.
I'm just giving you value, just cause. Like
Let me
if
tell
you
you,
take it, it's on you. You embrace it, it's on you, kind of thing.
I want everybody to know Erica's YouTube course is not about YouTube. That's about how to run a business. I'm like, yo, she got all this stuff and she talking about YouTube. YouTube is just a little spectrum. I don't even know why she should name it like how to start a business and be successful and all the stuff that you need to make your business grow. That's
Man,
what I got this microphone right here because Erica in the course said you need to pay attention to sound. And I said, okay, I got my ring light right here because she said, lighting is important. All
important.
these things that I prepared myself for. And I didn't know that I would be on doing interviews. And, I took a course and I'm just like, well, okay, well, I've
Wait. Did
been.
you just see what I did though? Look. Wait,
Huh?
I want you to see it. Look. Oh, look at the white light. You're blinded. Come back down, because we're brown people, and get you the yellow light. Look at the yellow. Look at that. It just softened. See, I ain't got the Kevin Samuels yet, but I'm gonna buy it. And I'm gonna set up one of these rooms in here to be like that. But yeah, Stan said he got the course.
Oh man,
Um,
thank you so much. And be sure you join the Facebook group. That's where all the action happens. You don't
Listen,
have to.
and listen, when you go on Facebook, some days you're like, this is so negative that I
Mhm.
have to put some positivity out in the world. And
Yeah,
even I have to fight, okay, whew, bring it back, bring some positive. Um, it's important for y'all. I don't know how much I can stress this is. If you go get on Facebook and you go get in a group and you get 2 or 3 nuggets and you're like, ooh, perfect, out,
mhm.
going off Facebook. You could do that every day and be just
Mhm.
fine. I have 4 or 5 groups I go in. It's all business related, and we talk
Yeah,
about business, and we talk
yeah,
about money. We talk about Main Street lending. I get in, I get out, boom, gone, out.
yeah, yeah. You know,
Douglas Jones just got in there.
wow,
So
wow. One of the things that I didn't expect, like when you go and in nursing and
mhm.
you're making someone who's in labor feel comfortable and things like that and they're thanking you, you get that, okay, I'm doing, but because I've been retired, now it's coming back from someone who's saying, I was just about to quit trading until I took your course. And now I'm getting back into it and I've seen consistent gains. These are the DMs that I'm waking up to in the morning and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like how can you not have a wonderful day after that? Because honestly, truly, I am grateful for everyone who will want to hear from me about the stock market. That just blows my mind because this is not something I went to school for. This is something that I was learning in order to learn it for myself. And I kept saying, this is something that I have to teach my children. So for me to be able to be like, wow, this is an easy way, I don't have to worry about leaving them houses and everything. All I have to do is make sure they know how to trade and they'll forever know how to grow money. That is what I'm leaving. That's my legacy. That's the information that I have and I learned that I'm passing on to them. That's where the real wealth lies. Yeah, they're going to get a house and they're going to get this and they're going to get that and, whatever, whatever. But if it comes time for a pandemic and no one is working, if they have Wi Fi and internet
Money.
access, they can still use
Listen,
their fingers clicking buttons and be able to make income.
that's all teenagers are, is fingers and buttons.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even talk to you no
Mm-hmm.
more. My nephew be like, I'm like, call me on the phone. I ain't reading all this mess. He's a teenage boy. So the what's crazy is one of my mentors here in Austin, who is a multimillionaire, who has properties here in Texas, multiple parts of the city of Austin, and in California. See, he used to be all about California, but now he realized how much Texas is booming. Y'all up in
Yeah.
Texas. And his sons, his twin boys that are 17, trade stocks.
Wow.
They literally go to school online and trade stocks.
Yeah.
17-year-old. So I be trying to tell people it's a skill thing. It's not an age thing. It's teaching yourself your attention span. It's teaching you to have that, like, okay, I can control
there's no
myself.
Discrimination.
Exactly.
Oh,
They
you're a
can't
woman.
tell you no.
Oh, you're this, you're that. You know, it doesn't matter. If you're a trader, anybody can be a trader. It does not matter, you know? And it's the thing of, you know, it's just like someone mentioned about Tesla and missing out on Tesla. I remember being in the group when Tesla was going from 500 and then it went to 700. And then I'm just like, hey guys, oh, it's coming back down. It's coming back down. And they're like, no, let's buy more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not even reading. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, now I see what they saw, but it was just the whole thing of, okay, I'm looking at it from a perspective of a day trader. I'm just like, ooh, it's coming back down. It's coming back down. And they're like, no, this is the larger view. We are long-term investors. And I'm just like, huh? It's coming back down. I said, see, I told you. And then they're like, buy more. I'm like, this group, I don't know if it's for me. But as you learn, I need to see and figure out what other people are looking at and understanding that. And that's where my research, you know, went into finding different areas and how it's just how you present the information. And
for sure. Someone said, do you have a strategy to keep money in your portfolio?
Keep money. You keep putting money in there and you invest it and you try not to take it out.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's the money that you don't need to live. That's the most important thing.
The key, listen, do not put your rent money in the stock market.
No.
Do not be, listen, I went to Detroit and I was at the casino.
Mm-hmm.
And they in there gambling like this is rent money. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do it. So yeah, people are out here spending 20 grand on courses all day. I tell y'all this. That's why when people ask me for coupons, I'll be like, do you understand where the money at out here? Yeah, thank you for Apple Mac's been explaining a lot in the chat, and I appreciate it. She's right. YouTube is really a business, right? YouTube is a business, baby. And there's some people playing it better than me, and some people playing it worse than me. But I have a good time while I do it. Let's see. Thank you for explaining the Apple Mac. Look, what y'all said, YouTube course fire. Liz Hat says she just enrolled. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie.
What y'all said, I'm in Terry's class, but I'm signing up.
RM.
Stock market is addictive. It is. Teach them how to fish, man.
Yeah. Once you got that knowledge, you just see things clearly. It's kind of like the Matrix. Be like, all I see is blonde hair, blue-eyed, and you see the screen and just green. Eventually, you'll start to see. When I started out, like my boyfriend, he trades Forex, and he showed me his screen. Literally, all I saw was black, red, and green. So he's amazed. He's like, yo, that's like less than 2 years ago, and you're teaching. Like, you know, it's amazing. Once you focus on it and you're willing to learn it and put in the work, it's going to be like, you know, how long you've been a trader? October 2018 is when I started to actually learn how to understand the stock market. And look at me now. I didn't know I was going to be here.
I was gonna say, can you tell the story again? Because some people came in late, and we're going an hour, y'all. So I'm gonna wrap it up in a little bit. But can you tell them again how you made? I think it was like 3,000 in one day. Go ahead and just give that story for people.
Okay, so Amazon, what I used to do was I used to look at the movement of a stock, and so when it was the market had just opened, and then I'm looking at my zones, and then I knew that it was going to be headed up, but Amazon went up so high that I saw, and I made money going up. I saw that it had hit its level to come down, and so I shorted it, and Amazon came right back down. So when I did that, I came out, I looked at my balance and it was $2,599. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went, I screenshot it. I was like, Terry, look at what happened. And for a long time, that was the most amount that I had made in that short amount of time. Then what it was, okay, I know that I can be, I can get wins, but I needed to work on my consistency. So when I started to work on my consistency and understand my charting levels and my zones and things like that, that's when I started becoming a consistent trader. So when it happened where I'm seeing my zones and the market is falling and it's falling and it's falling, it was like in 1 week, I had made $10,000. And then the following week, I had made 13,000 in 1 day. So it was just like, it was amazing because it was just like, okay, this is happening. This is unreal. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is actually possible. There are people who do this and they don't have to do anything else. I love real estate. What I usually do is I go and I drive around the expensive neighborhoods and I wonder what they do inside.
Driving around.
Yeah, what do they do inside of there in order to be able to afford those lovely homes? I see that there's cars in the driveway. I see, in the local shops, they're going to get salads and the kids just came from the beach and nobody's stressed out. Now, this is while I'm on my lunch break to rush, go get my salad and rush back because I only have an hour and I'm eating at my desk, And it was that thing of, okay, well, what do they know that I don't know? And that was always a question for me. Why is it that we have to work physically so hard and there's another set that get to just do whatever and they go to the malls and they have the one of my friends said you can spot someone with money because they'll be like in a jumpsuit, but then they'll have like a Louis Vuitton bag. Because the bag that you carry is gonna, say, okay, well, this person has money and, they have, and it's not having money showing, it's having money showing that you can afford to have something on your hand because there's excess there. You know what I mean? Like that kind of.
Can we have a moment? Can we talk for real for a second? When I started booking regular massages and facials stuff, and it was like I would come in there and they'd be like, Miss Williams, come in. Like it'd be a lady in front of them, they straight ignore them, Miss Williams. And the lady be like, oh, she's a business owner, she's very busy. And they would let me walk past people, like straight to the back.
Wow.
And I laugh because I just tell people it's time freedom. Who else is going at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, stress free? Not like, oh, I gotta hurry up and get back to the office, girl. Yeah. It's like I come to get this massage. Come rub this back. You know what I mean? Like whatever, And so I want people to understand that it's a skill thing. It's not, man. And so if I could get people to understand that if you have a little bit of self-control, like I say this all the time to people outside and in my mastermind groups or whatever, like if it was just me, I could just chill. But when you have to pay payroll, you do a few things, you get a little bit, you want to make more money and do things that like in a rushed pace. But when you know your budget and know your numbers, if y'all know you only need $3,000 to live, and you get $3,000 the first week of the month, you like,
man, shoot, everything else.
Is
and Kamoy's asking, how often do I trade? I had to take the advice of Terry. Terry said, I don't want you guys to think of it as you have to make $1,000 a day. She said, I want you to do it as a weekly goal. Once she told me that, and then my weekly goal was $5,000, that worked out well. Because what I usually do is I trade in the first part of the morning. If I'm in the stock market and it's 11 o'clock, that's it. I'm done, And I've learned to only go in twice and not anymore, because if I'm trying to do something, it's not working out. So if I come out on a day and I make $700 and then all of that stuff has happened, I'm shutting down my computer. Why? I have a 4-year-old son at homeschool. He needs my time. Now I have him in a thing where he gives me my time. He's watching his program, educational stuff in the morning. We have our little routine going because of quarantine, but I had to go and readjust. So now my trading happens within the first hour, usually hour and a half, no past 11. And if I hit, say, 700, I have the discipline to shut it down and then try again tomorrow. When I do that, I usually have a higher amount the next day. So if I hit my $5,000 goal and it's Wednesday, I really don't have to trade the rest of the week because I hit my goal. I have to follow my little cup where it's like, this is your goal. It's enough. Don't do any more. It will add up. And this is why I keep this at my desk and, go from there. Annettesworth.com. You can get yours. It's wonderful. Yes. But I've never drank out of that. I need that visually to remind me to stop trading.
It says, are you teaching how to read charts in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just bought your course for our family business. Thank you.
Yes.
Someone said they bought a consultation up in here.
Yeah. I do consults also to go through what your trading style is, what you need to do, what I use to look every morning, the same routine, and I'm telling you what to look for. How you know if the market is going up and down, I tell you what to look for. The other thing too is I would say that this course is something that if you have a teenager in your house, watch the course and do it with them. Lead by example.
See, everybody want to tell, well, I told them what to do. I told them to do. Your kids are watching you every day, rolling up. They watching you watch Love and Hip Hop. What people have to understand is a lot of people go, I worked so hard. I gave my children all this great life. Why are they not doing blank? Well, what did they see when they came home? They watching you from 5 to 9.
Yeah.
That 5 to 9 is what they have to observe. And so I just remember growing up and being like, we had our family always made us do this Thanksgiving giving at the homeless shelter and as a family. And they made us do stuff on Saturdays and we're working at our family businesses. And as a kid, you're like, oh, but now as an adult, you're like, that was the foundation. And I just didn't notice, right? I just was ungrateful. Like now I look at my nephew who's 13. He loves all summer school been out. Great. He got to work at his grandpa's tire shop. He got to work at his daddy's oil change place. He got to be over here at the farm. He got to do all this stuff all summer. Now he's coming out here to Texas Ground Zero to cut the grass. But he wanted a backhoe, a whole backhoe. I'm like, sir,
wow. Wow.
But letting them have multiple skills.
Yeah.
Letting them see you do it. Like you can tell your kids to do A, B, and C all day. You need to read more books. Are you reading books?
Exactly.
You need to do this. Are you doing this? The best clip I have is somebody who's watching my video and their baby's on the floor watching, and just having a good little time. And I'm like, that stuff blows my mind. But kids are watching you.
My son knows your voice because I put you on, and
he's like, oh dang it, it's her.
He knows your voice and he knows Terry's voice because it's just like he listens to.
Terry sounds like a teacher. She'd be like, and so anyway, that's what I had. All right, you guys.
He's 4 years old, and I go, okay. I'm like, okay, green is up and red is, and he goes down. Like he knows. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. Yes, and now I'm gonna have it. And he goes to my laptop and he's like trying to click stuff. I was like, don't try to order anything. But he sees it. It's there. Yeah. Expose your kids to something that will feed them for the rest of their life. Yeah.
So somebody said they're booking their consult now because my children will not be working for somebody else. Listen, honey, when you figure out the math, of what you really need to survive.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I tried to get my class to realize is like, go look at what you made financially 5 years ago. Go look what you made 3 years ago, and go look what you made last year. Yeah. Like some of y'all are progressing, you just don't recognize it because of lack of gratitude and lack of focus, where you pull yourself out and watch this. You go, okay, I'm going to invest an hour in the morning. I'm going to dedicate myself to study this to do it. You know what I mean? So that's what I got from. That's what I got from. So anyway, but that's what we have. So leave them with some parting words.
Okay.
Tell them where they
So
can find you, what you be doing.
find me everywhere as Annettes Worth. I'm on Instagram. I have my YouTube. I have a free stock scanning video on there so you can get a taste of what the course is all about and how I teach. And I'm on Twitter. My nephew said you got to get on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I got to change my, So I'm on Twitter now. I'm doing little tweets. Everyone, yeah, but I bring it all the way back to Instagram anyway, because that's where I feel most at home. And then you can go and find everything at annettsworth.com. You can find the link to the course and also the link to consultations. And, I'm just saying, like, if there is someone out there that is kind of like, well, I don't know if that's for me. What else do we spend our money on? At least take it, get the information, hear it once, go through the steps, and then if you go and do it afraid, go and do it anyway. Go and do it regardless of every reason in your head saying, no, 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 I can't. Then all of a sudden you're going to be on the other side of that. And then you're going to be like, yeah, you shouldn't be buying that because, they just had earnings and it's going to fall. And,
I'm always trying to buy stuff right before earnings. I'm like, and
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Done.
I mean, like, wait till after earnings. That's when the deals happen. Like, but all of that is in the course. Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
listen, we've had a solid 300 plus people here for a stock show. Be very proud. Very proud.
Yay. Yeah.
Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you for the super chats. There were 2. I didn't mean to not report you, but thank you both. Thank you, Annette, for being here. Thank you for being a wonderful student of mine and Terry's.
You're
And
welcome.
also
You're welcome.
charting freedom for yourself.
Yeah.
Just pat yourself on the back, girl.
And thank you for all the years that I was behind the scenes and you was just giving it. I'm the one that was receiving everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm out of here, y'all. Peace out. That's it. I dropped the mic. I'm done. No. Bye, you guys.
I'm not dropping my new mic. I just got
Don't do it. Don't do it. Bye, you guys.
Bye.